Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I did a golden brown smoky eye, and just a disclaimer, I'm a little sick right now, so I'm sorry if I sound super nasally. But for the shadows, I'm using the Urban Decay Original Naked palette, and I first use Naked as my transition color, which doesn't show up on my skin as much, but it just helps my other shadows blend out perfectly. So I just take that all over my crease, not being careful at all. And then I go in with Buck, which is just a shade darker than Naked, and I take that a little lower in my crease, but still just really blending it out everywhere. And then taking the Maybelline tattoo pot thing, I forget what it's called, but it will be linked down below, in the shade Bad to the Bronze. I am taking a synthetic brush and putting this all over my lid just so my other shadows will cling perfectly. And going in with Smog, I am putting this in my inner corner and my outer corner, which is just a classic bronzed shade and has been one of my favorite shades for a really long time. And so I just pack that in, and then I'll use my blending brush with no additional product to blend out the edges and make sure there's no harsh lines, like always. For the gold shade, we're using Half Baked from the palette, and I am going to wet my brush first with some eye drops, which is just a great way to make your eyeshadows more metallic and just stand out more. And so that's what I'm doing, and then I'll apply Half Baked to the center of my lid and just blending that into Smog on the outer corners. And then taking Dark Horse, I just wanted to add this to really darken up the look and make it more of a, nighttime sexy looking eyeshadow. Ooh, I don't like using the word sexy, but you know what I mean. So I just take Dark Horse to darken up the outer and inner corners and then just blend it out again. To make sure I didn't lose any of the gold shadow, I'm just going to go back in and touch that up to make it stand out even more. And then you can take off the tape on the corners of your eyes, which really just creates a clean wing on the outside. And so I'm using the Maybelline Lash Line Stiletto eyeliner for my winged liner, and I just follow the shape that the tape made. And for lashes, I go in with the Koko Goddess lashes. And for foundation, I'm using Revlon Colorstay. Mine is in the dry to normal skin type formulation. And I just speed through this because I'm sure you've seen me do it a million times. I'm just blending it out with a Real Techniques sponge. For concealer, I'm using the LA Girl Pro Concealer. My shade is in Light Ivory. And of course, I'm just taking that under my eyes, on the bridge of my nose, around my nose, on my forehead, on my chin, and around my mouth. Just all the places that I want to hide any more redness or highlight just a little bit more. And then I will blend it out again with the Real Techniques sponge. To set all the concealer we just placed, I am using the RCMA No Color Powder, and I just take my sponge and dab out any fine lines that the concealer might have already set into, and then just pat on the powder just to make sure I'm not moving the concealer and just to set it in place. And then I'll take whatever leftover powder I have on my brush to set the rest of my face, which I don't usually do, but I have started to do it recently, and I realized that my bronzer and my blush and highlight and everything goes on so much better when I set the rest of my face. So try that if you find that your bronzer or blush moves when you put it on your cheeks, because I have found it to be so helpful. For my bottom eyeshadow, I take Naked and Buck just on a blending brush, and I just smoke that out underneath my lashes. Not being really neat with this at all. The more smoky, the better, in my opinion. And then I'll take Smog and layer that on top of where I just put those two shadows. And again, not being very neat, but I am taking a smaller brush so it's not going everywhere. I blend that back out and then take Dark Horse, and I'm using this on a precision brush just to get really close to my bottom lash line, but really just to darken up the look overall. For my inner corner, I'm using Sin, and then for my brow bone, I'm using Virgin. And this just really completes the eye look, and I finish it off with some bottom mascara. And I didn't put anything in my waterline just because I didn't want it to be too dark, and I like the way this level of smokiness is. So for contour, I'm using, of course, the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and my camera was about to die at this point, so I'm trying to speed through this really fast and really not blending as well as I should have. But I first take the lightest shade, which is a more ashy toned bronzer, and I carve out my cheekbones, and then I take the middle shade, which is more orange toned, and I blend out that contour and warm up my face with this color. And so I do that on my cheekbones and on my temples, a little bit on my nose just to add that warmth, and under my jawline just to make sure my foundation is blending everywhere and you can't tell that I have foundation on, even though obviously you can. For blush, I'm using Milani's Baked Blush in Luminoso, and if you haven't heard of this blush, I don't want to be your friend because it's the best thing in the world. I'm just kidding, but you really need to go out and get this blush if you don't own it now. It just gives a perfect flush to the cheeks. For highlighter, I'm using Becca's Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal, and mine was actually destroyed and cracked, so I couldn't hold it up to show y'all, but that's what it is, and I just put it on the tops of my cheekbones and on my nose and the top of my lip. And for lipstick, I actually just went in with the Milani Matte Naked Lipstick and not the lip gloss because I didn't feel like I needed it, but this is the finished look. I hope y'all enjoyed. Here's me doing a lot of weird stuff in front of the camera and dancing, and I don't know. But if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to like or subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!